right. Thank you for joining us on Nehanda TV. Thank you to the multiple partners who are streaming this broadcast. Nehanda Radio, newzimbabwe.com, Zimbo Live, and of course, thank you to Diaspora Insurance for sponsoring the program. My guest combines flamboyance, as I've said, controversy to hog the limelight on social media. Prophet Passion Java is my guest. Clarify something for me. Your surname, Java or Java, do you take the Shona root or the English one? How do you pronounce your surname?
Java.
Java.
It's actually Indian.
The what?
Yes, Java. Indian.
As in India, Indian Java.
Yeah, my actual last name was Honye. That was in the 16th century. But one of my grandfathers got hooked and married, or was married by an Indian lady. That
Okay.
is last name which was Java, but others remained as Honye.
Okay. We have a million topics under the sun to cover. So, for the purposes of chronology and to set the stage, let's go back to where it all started. Passion Java, as you yourself have reminded us, jumping sewage water in Chitungwiza with nothing in his pocket. Set the stage for us.
Not nothing with his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
I had Jesus in my heart and had a plan in my mind. And it was needed for me to be in Chitungwiza because it groomed me and raised me in a way that when I became successful, I knew the mindset of the people I was dealing with. So I'm always ahead of some people simply because I was where they are and I am where they are not. So in Chitungwiza, life wasn't that difficult. We were the best muka neighborhood kakadaro.
Mm-hmm.
As in kuti kuvarombo tatirisu vari nani. You'd find kuti our father used to drive us to school, Sega 6 primary. I think to take a family drive one a motor no see and stuff. But taizoendawo kunzimbe umbono bawo nzimbe zvezviya izalfone. Hello?
Okay, we've got you back. Yeah.
So we would go to places kwawanzi nzimbe anoziva semwana mudiki unobawo nzimbe kwamudhara mashanga kwakwe tomhanyiswa tojamba muhomba mbambaira tombopfura mumasuweji then omboti uri kusango paipo ombopreswa unana tisho tsvaga mashizha. I personally grew up looking at P. Diddy and a guy called Birdman. And they brought inspiration in my life. And I said, I'm not going to remain here in Chitungwiza. So at the age of 19, I came out of Chitungwiza, went to Cape Town. I did one or two in Cape Town. God told me to come back to Zimbabwe and do ministry. And then when I came back in 2010, I began to do ministry. And 2012, I left Chitungwiza. So 11, I stayed in 5 avenues, avenues. Myself, Kamani was on Amiram Road. Then I went to Greendale after 6 months. Then a year later, I went to Brook. And from Brook, I then went to America.
Okay. Before we get to how that happened, that transition from where you were to, you've clearly grown up with people who were struggling. You've seen what poverty looks like. A lot of people criticize the fact that you seem to mock people who are poor. I just watched the skit of yours just yesterday where you were talking about so what's the strategy behind that? Why mock people who are starving?
It's not mocking people. What I do in church is I bring theology through psychological embellishment, which brings somebody's transformation in the cognitive energy. What I'm trying to say is when I come on social media, I want to bring a message, but I can't bring a package without a delivery truck. So the delivery truck becomes the skits I do. Oh, scooter. So I can get everybody's ear and deliver a message. It can be in a joking way, it can be in a mocking way, it can be in a laughing way, sometimes when I'm serious. But you'd find if I just come and bring inspiration to people without instruction, then I fail to do what I want to do. So I can't bring instruction without inspiration, because once I bring instruction, nobody's going to listen to me. So I have to wear some Gucci to attract people that like dressing. I have to have a nice, beautiful skin to attract people that like that. My hair has to be on point. My hands has to be on point. Then my voice has to bring something that's going to hook people to listen to me.
But
So I would say
someone who is starving, someone who is starving is not going to be amused. I mean, granted, there are people who like what you do.
I'm not
but,
mocking.
But you have an equal measure of equal number of people who take offense at your antics.
There's a difference between mocking somebody and saying the truth.
Okay.
Ndakati wakapfeka bhutsu yekwabhata nekuti uri I'm saying the truth. Wakapfeka bhutsu yekwabhata zveshuku. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
But people who are
kuvanhu zvinotenge ndikuwanza. But bhutsu yekwabhata ndakatoipfekawo nchikura nditori kuchiforo. Ndakatopfekawo sandals.
Okay.
But I'm expressing zvakatopfekwa nemunhu wakapfeka bhutsu yekwabhata.
Okay, but people who are wallowing in poverty don't need to be reminded of their poverty. Should they?
It's not poverty to wear bata. Bhutsu yekwabhata. It's not poverty kupfeka sandak. Sanike chikoro kwedu taitonzi ndofana uya nesandak. Yenye chopisa yapisa bhutsu yebhata. Ndozvazvitoripo, ndozvaitodiwa chikoro. But it could be a way of expression. I think there is only one human being wandakamoka. One human being. And akanga kunyebera kuti no, inini I'm here kuti ndite interview. Then I'm saying this is not an interview. Yeah, direct attack. Then the only way to win when you're being attacked is not to defend but to attack back. The vandadanga kuti yo chikanze this and that. Then I felt bad after that. And that's what mchaka wataamwa vanaona kuti auya akatooma so I think akatokanganisika brain and stuff. But apart from that, him, everyone else, it's just internet games. Sometimes it's just like internet life. It's you have to ask yourself, what do people want before you want to be there to where they are. Varikumbodeva vanoda makuwa, okay, vanoda ngano, okay, vanoda kuwanzirana, okay, saka toita sei. Vanoda motikari, okay, vanoda dzimba, vanoda munhu anouya achiexpressa kuti ari kunzwei. And you just give them and deliver your message in the package that they are looking for.
Okay. We'll come back to this one because I'm still not satisfied with that answer. But I'm interested in your transition from Borodale or Chitungwiza, Borodale to the States. This
yes.
Money, yakabva kupi?
God, I will not lie. God. What happens is, if a lion is chasing after a rabbit,
okay,
and the lion, Jesus, I'm praying, and the rabbit, who is God going to answer?
Okay, so
Mr.
I think Tangatamboita a drag in the signal. Could you say that again?
I was expressing the lion chasing after a rabbit. And the lion is saying, Lord, in the name of Jesus, I'm praying, I'm hungry, give me the meat. And the rabbit is praying, Lord, in the name of Jesus, I'm being chased, but I got kids at home, save me. Who is God going to answer?
That sounds like a clever way of avoiding the question. I mean, are you saying the people who are poor now, all they need to do is to ask God to provide and Marino? Yeah, that doesn't sound.
The answer is God's answer is going to say, Lion, I gave you the skills. Rabbit, I gave you the skills. Whoever is going to work perfecting the skills is going to get an answer from me. So, no matter how I will pray, I know God is the one that blesses me and my family. But God will say, I'll bless the works of your hands. So if you don't use those hands, you're not going to get money. So the only way person can get money is through hard work. Hakuna zvinonzi nyoka inokosora mari. In my billionaires, my trillionaires. Hakuna nyoka yakadaro. Everybody has to work hard, and that's what I do. Mari dzese dzamunoona dzedze dzishoma pane dzandinadzo, because ndoda kukuratidza imwe life yekuti mubeliever ndozvandiri, but nditori nelife yandotorarama, and all those they come from hard work.
Okay. You have a lot of ghetto youths from your involvement with Zim Dancer who follow what you do. Now, they look up to you, and they want to know what they should do to be like you. But that answer does not give them a clear pathway to wealth, because ukangodza munhu kuti Mwari provides. How are you saying God is selecting kuti passion ndompa mari, the rest can wallow in poverty?
No, it's all about lion and the rabbit. I'm answering you guys, but my answer is use what I gave you. Nobody's going to be passion Java. I'm the only one and only Twabam. There can't be another, which means my way to the mountaintop ain't going to be anybody's way to the mountaintop. Everybody's secret has to be, no matter how much you failed school or you passed the school, learning school, whatever you got from school is not going to change your life. What changes your life is you. So the best syllabus to study is you. My results are from Fanda unomatora, Mr. Lance. But ichi ndakachistada ichi bandachiziva ichi. Ndochakaita kuti ndite mari. Anyone who's in the ghetto, anyone even borrowed mwana wemene, haasi mene, mwana wemene, anopano stada ichi. Iye ozvistada. Ona mari. Ndakaudza vanhu ndakatengesa nzungu, ndakatengesa nyimo, ndakaona mari yakati. Umwe munhu akaenda kunyima hazvibude. Because mara ifana iwe zvafana ungoti hanzwa watedzera passion. My advice to everybody will be, study this guy. Iwewe zvistudy, uzvizive kuti ndoita say, once you do that, money comes to you. Running, flying, and it becomes very easy.
I'm curious, how much money do you spend on clothes per month?
Okay. My Gucci account alone in 2019 was about 320,000. Right now, dessert Yamari.
So is this per year?
No, and I got Gucci around 2016, 17. So my account is on VIG, very important Gucci. Then I saw 320. I'm like, what? Do rasa marike? And what happened? Ndakasadaro ndozopeka.
Okay. So, but is there no level of guilt when you are using money like that, and you come from a country with such poverty? Is there a part of you that makes you feel guilty?
You have to educate me on that. Does that mean if your country, my country is poor, Zimbabwe is poor, and people got to know that Zimbabwe is not a poor nation. You know that, you yourself, you know it, right?
When you have such high unemployment levels, I think a lot of the people who like you are actually unemployed, and some are in the informal sector. So I mean, we can't underestimate the poverty.
Mr. Lance, let's put it this way. How many millionaires do you know in Zimbabwe? A lot. How many youths that made it up to the mountaintop? In the same country that people are saying it's poor, how much gold do we have in the ground? How many gold mines do we have?
But that's only for a few, Ka. That's only for a few. The majority are in poverty.
It's only for the few that are using their cognitive energy to bring forth the delivery of the best of them. Many of us who blame people, we blame people because we have failed ourselves. So when we look up, we feel like people failed us. Mr. Lance, everybody in Zimbabwe has opportunities. Check Stripe Masiwa. He wasn't born even a 1,000 years. He was born naked. He's a billionaire right now. Way down.
I think Strive is a bad example because government fought him for that license. It was only the intervention of people like
he was fought.
Yeah.
But did they make it? Did they win? They didn't, because
No, but
he had focus.
But it was an example. It was an example of bad governance that Strive to struggle to set up Econet. Now it's one of the biggest employers in the country.
Are we going to blame our government for people's failure in life? In 2005, I know of a lady I know in the Botswana. I don't know what the Sipoenzi Mulang.
Okay, your signal's dragging again.
And you hear me now?
Okay, could you repeat that? You were giving an example here, yeah, someone.
Then in Chitungiza, 2005. Kwakaoma kusina na chikafu mashopu. Aenda kuBotswana Sipoenzi Mulangeni. Kusika atenga imba. Vanatenga kuti aidane madhara kuBotswana ikoko ye. Masaona munhu achitengesera zvoda. I have to admit that there are things zviri kufixwa munyika. That's why muri kuona kuti inini I'm not a politician and it a politics. But people have seen me with the president, our president of President Emerson Mnangagwa. In that he rikandifarira mkuru. Ndafarira mkuru because I landed in the airport ikuruwa irikuvakwa zvinotyisa. Zimbabwe isina parliament over the years. In 2 years vasumudza parliament. Amaruwa ndakaona progress munyika, mabridge arikuvakwa. Ndakati what? We need to support such progress. Chinoitika ndechekutika kana isusu as a nation takacolonized for over 1,000 years. Tova independent for 40 years. We can't expect a turnaround within 40 years. Over 1,000 years, the slavery. And this could Zimbabwe is perfect. Zimbabwe is perfect.
Okay.
But we are working towards.
Can I ask you?
This is net one.
Can I ask you a question on your relationship with the president?
Everyone.
Can I ask you a question on your relationship with the president? I mean, in your last video with President Emerson Mnangagwa, you were saying leaders come from God. I think you were pushing the pray for your leadership. Usa opposer power doctrine. Are you trying to say leaders are beyond scrutiny and citizens should turn a blind eye? That's
there is nothing called blind eye according to this question. What I would say is the Bible, me as a pastor prophet, the Bible is every leader, every president is placed in power by God himself. But anosarudza munhu ndimwari according to the Bible, and you know the scripture. Saka inini ndakati hazvisirizvo, I'm opposing God. Ndato Satanist. Ano mwari musatanist on a Bible point of view. But does that mean kuti no, your choice. God dasingavati ngrasa vati. That's what attracted me. That's what attracted me, and I said, this way is great. It has to be supported. As each one that everyone, if we build our nation together, and what's happening to life?
Okay. It's interesting you should say leaders come from God, because we then asked in November 2017, the president was Robert Mugabe, and it was Emerson akadhingura president anga aripo. So clearly Vamnangagwa didn't follow your advice yekuti leaders come from God.
No, izvozvo kwakutotira kumwari izvozvo. Unoziva Bible rinoti Solomon ka anga asiri first born, because kana uri king, first born yako ndo yaizonoita king kana wabva paumambo. But anga asiri born and anga asiri wife. I'm talking of Solomon. But Solomon yaizonoita pambo. Why? Yekuti president and our president tinogona kutsvaga nzira yedu box kana but mwari yake. And once hakuna munhu anozvitadzisa, hakuna inini anogona muka chinoita kuti vanhu vasabudirira kupika.
Okay, yeah, your signal is not the best. I don't know what's happening. Yatanga zvakanaka, but it's deteriorating a bit. I don't know if people can hear you. If you can let me know in the comment section now. Say, you can hear me perfectly, Anditi.
I can.
Okay.
I can hear you.
All right. Let's just play an advert while we wait on sorting this out. Just hold on.
Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee. Peace of mind is not as expensive as you may think. For just one day, you can forego your cup of coffee for your monthly Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan cover. To find out how much premium you would pay, get a quote today. Visit www.diasporainsurance.com/getquote. WhatsApp +44 770 3838 304 UK and international. WhatsApp +27 659 070 419 South Africa and rest of Africa. Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee.
Okay, so let's check your signal. I hope Muchirutinzwa in Harare over there.
I can. You hear me?
Okay.
Yes.
Your relationship with the president is interesting because you had a slight dig at Nelson Chamisa, the opposition leader. What's your attitude towards him as an opposition leader?
Oh, well, me as a pastor in the prophet, as I've said before, I'm not a politician. I have known the one you are saying opposition leader, but I see him as a leader. Me, I don't say opposition, I don't say whatever, I just say leader. I've known him for years, and we have worked with my mom before and stuff. So because of that, we have met in different places, but it was ABC. I was just shocked. And I don't reply. I'm now hearing which no, he has been sponsored so pana zvaizvozvo kamukuru plan izvazvinei president zvinhu zvatongoonondeka ndakatongoda mukuru ana plan ndaingari plan ichitaiona ka because chatinoda is a leader, but tinotarisa ka amena muri kubabata wamboite uri kuitei wakapedye uri kufamba sei uri kuudza vanhu kuti chii zvinozataka even usina kupasa chikoro munhu wese akaenda chikoro tine imwe level rekuvhurika rekuti takati tikuda change iwo wacho munhu usina change tirikuona change life yake iye ega wachinja kubva apo kusvika apa for over 3 years or 5 years, but it wasn't something bad. Kungoti una plan kupopota. It's my own point of view. I don't know if you follow.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing that I want to ask. a lot of people are curious about your declaration of support for ZANU-PF. I think in the past you've been kind of quiet about it, but you've now come out clearly to endorse a political party. And the question is, you lead a church that has congregants who support different political parties. Are you not
Of
creating
course.
problems by aligning with a political party when you lead a church of people who support different parties?
Well, number one, my church knows I don't do church. I do Jesus, myself, my family, and I love people around the world. And I teach people to do the same. Don't live for people. You should always check your relationship with God, not according to human point of view, but according to your relationship. That's number one. Number two, I've never declared myself as ZANU-PF. I've never told anyone to be ZANU-PF. As I stated before, I believe in the President Emmerson Mnangagwa, and I've seen his work in Zimbabwe. And said, with this great work, I need to support. And I'm happy to, if one day, if the president will give me an opportunity to serve the country in a way of changing lives, helping the youth and stuff, if I'm given that opportunity, I'll be glad to make sure Zimbabwe gets to the next level. Not to do politics. I will never be a politician, and I'm not a politician. And that I will always tell people, I'm not a politician. Kuonekwa president doesn't mean wato ZANU-PF or wato a politician or wato chaka chigaro chokambena. I will never do that. I'm a prophet, and that alone is what I am.
Okay. A lot of people.
Bible, you see, every king was with a prophet.
We've seen you several times with President Mnangagwa recording selfies with him. And some
Yes.
people are thinking some of those selfies where you are doing your Ngenyi skits with the president is kind of demeaning the office of the president. I mean, some people are trying to imagine you doing that with Mugabe and thinking, you know, there's a measure of, I don't know if disrespect is the right word.
Oh, well, what people don't know, Mr. Lance, is when you look at the president from a different, you imagine Fungwaso. And Fungo Zimbabwe ticheta president inge President ED. He is accessible. Havasarudze kuti une mare here, uri mpinga here, havasarudze kuti iwo uri munhu akaita sei. You'll be shocked one day when you come to Zimbabwe yourself. Ndakambonzwa skit ravo one day vachitaura painterview kuti I'm soft as a wool. Ndakatoseka ndichiti kungotaura. Until ndatozosvikawo padhuze kuti the president is a different type of a person. Munhu anoaccesswa nemunhu akaita seni, achitotambirawo munhu akaita seni nini kutotambira kutoti no, jikambambera idzi. Kutopiwa chikafu kuti inini. Hakuna president akadaro. I will tell you that worldwide. Kana president anotambira munhu akaita seni, otambira munhu akaita sa President Mike wedu anenge wakapinwa chitoba ku memory yejinimba wari wamajini akabaruka. He can accept you. Makakumbira picture, he accepts it. Nezuro wavanhu weboxing, he accepts. The other day vangawana endimridzo abata gitare. Avatarise kuti uri ani. That makes him a good leader, because a good leader is somebody who does not select a certain type of people. He accommodates everybody. Chinoita kuti munhu ave a wise man or a successful person. Munhu akuti achenda kunoraura haende nechirauro. Unobata hove yobata yo according netype yehuku yaunayo. But ukaenda nenet, you get everybody. And I see President ED semunhu anofamba nenet. And he accommodates everybody. You will be shocked one day. Bev akakumbira kuenda kunona. You'll be shocked when you accept. Akatoenda nechichemo chake vantu chiacceptawo. Chakatiwo. Akatokumbira picture varambe. He is very accommodating, and ndopavanona my ideas to build the nation. Because how can I change your life if I don't know your life? So I need to know upenyu zvigure, wemapostori, wemaprofita, wemamuslim, weng'anga, watsuro, wagudo, everyone, so that ndiziye I can't give you a solution if I don't know your problem. So kuti vabvume kuti passion uya ugara apa kapa hakusi kuti ndinonzi twabama na president is a big man zvekuti level rao hatombochoka panhu akaita seso. But because he wants to build Zimbabwe to be a better nation, he wants to get into my cognitive energy and see anombofunge iwe zvuta anobatsirwa papo uyo kuti ndichochinjawo. He has to see me, he has to accept me over not uyani era apa neapa, let me help him. So I would say that's good leadership.
Okay, but I think you skipped, you didn't quite get my question. I accept the accessibility bit, but vanhu vari kuzoti nkenyi pana president. Is that not a bit of a stretch? Accessibility.
There's a question called why. Let me ask you a question. If a Chinese guy comes to the president, is he going to say Makadi? Or is he going to say Hong Hong Hong, Shang Shang Hong? And the interpreter what is Zanzi Makadi? In another way, accept you are with your language. He has to accept you the way you are. We are going to groove Manucci, akaenda nezvemagrovos, akaenda nezvemabeltrel. That's his language. And demiridzo akaenda nezigitare. Havati kuona president siya izvo, huya wakapfeka sutu wakadai, huya wakadzikama. Vanokuti nezvisutra maruva rare, come. Vanokuti nevhudzi rako wakarukwa zvayo ndemiridzo, come. Uya webhoro uya anonzi come. That's good leadership. So I am saying, ukaona president vakuti huya kwandiri asi handidi izvi. Then vanhu vakaita sesu munyika vachabatsirika sei. He has to accept.
Let me switch this up a bit.
So it can be a blessing to you.
Okay, let me switch this up a bit and ask you a more personal question. Your first wife was a foreigner, so is your current one. Many people are wondering, do you have something against Zimbabwean women? Some may have even gone as far as saying, Guti, you target rich women. That's why you marry.
Well, first time I married, I was 21. And mkazi wangu angani 18 years old. I will turn 19 within a month. Now tell me, when I'm 19 years, I know zonzari rich papi. That's number one. Another mkazi wangu ishtu, angani 25 years. Anga sinza kupi zvekuona mari yekuti ndototaimira daindaida vakaza ndatsvaga mashuga mama yanenge achinzi zvimamiliyoni ndoandamwe ini ndosenza mudare inini kuti mukadzi wangu atonzi ane mari kushanda kwangu its cash yangu inini but handina problem nemazimbabweans inini handikana nditsvaga bhebhi handitsvaga ndichiti vasiri muzimbabwe ndapa handitotsvage nechinamata ndita zvandoita nditsvaga maita unongoona wega mweya wako unongoudhonzwa kuti uyu. You know, when I married my first wife, ndangatori kutanga ndantori virgin ndakaguruma kwaSams of God ndiri baranzwa asikana singezvezve but ndakangodhonzwa muall-night prayer kuti uyu anoita. Saka aufa wakachuza mukana uchiti muZimbabwe nachakati I'll teach people this just to educate some people. There is the geographical place, and there is humanic place. Geographical place inokulimita kuti ukakurira muchitungiza ogara muchitungiza haukwanise kuenda kunoroora munhu kwaAmerica because geographical place yako inongokupa vanhu vari ipapo. But if you would want to choose on a bigger scale, you have to break your geographical place and get into a humanic place. Panambo starter each. Once you say, "Oh, no, I'm kadagara say," ane character yakata say, ane gandara say. You need to know what you want before you meet or get what you want. Musono sangana na it becomes spot on. So I would say I don't have any problem with Zimbabwean women, and I will never have any problem with Zimbabwean women. Panombo famba pane pamba not manakapenga. Undono ari muZimbabwe not yakapenga. So I have no problem with Zimbabweans.
Okay, your wife seems very reserved and quiet. What does she make of your antics? Because the Passion Java we see now is certainly not the same Passion Java ever kudara. So when your wife sees you, your ngenyi, your tsotsonyas, what does she say about that?
Well, if you are the one asking her the question, she will reply you this way and say, the guy you know on Instagram ain't the guy that is in the house. Auti kana uri mahobo kubasa. Osvika kumba wakabata mboma. Uchiti apaga bageti ndiani. I have to ask myself, what does Zimbabwe need right now? Well, it's lockdown. They need garamumba. Okay, what do they need now? It's lockdown, but garamumba ichana kids because the volume was I want to change, but in the chikata phone and I'm banana. Mina nega tskubudu. Mina nega kona rezamusa. Doesn't make sense. They got to go be same. Ndakutono tamba basement. Nevana. Ndakumendesa Trump Tower takudai because internet. I give you what I want to give you. They got to put and balance in the GT 2 times 7 equals to 72 is 27 is 2 times 7 so it's 27 munando ngadagoni nets because those are no kuratita. So when she looks at me she said thank you Jesus because she believes I'm the best and or better. Saka, she understands me more than everybody.
Okay, you've had a run-in with a lot of celebrities. I'll throw a few names. Mongwen Pama 15-second answers about, what happened and Bifi Yaga Tanga say. So here we go. Let's start with Maititi.
Very good, successful person, and she's strong and she's a different type of a character. That when I doing social media, she took things into her heart. I can catch my feelings. My feelings then she came and lied to people and then man ndakati iwe inonetsa nakadzi but vaya nakati ndakanyarira unachati uyu ari kutyabuditsirwa manutsu saka ndikati ndikandinasowamuka everyday kuruti vabuditse manutsu acho kuti vanhu vafunge kuti ana mamunzi. So I would say she's a very successful person but patikangonokurosana zvakangoitikawo but zvakatongopfurwa ndounongoti mangwana maititi musoro nemapotos nezvi zvepainternet nezvisingarevo kuti vane musoro nemapotos.
Okay, next name on my list, Tatelicious.
Andimuzieni. I just heard the name, then I had a dream achieva. Then I came on a video and I got God did not speak to me, but I now hope that there's a ndukumbro Zimbabwe nsungomuna. Then I got some more to live. I just responded to that. She didn't take it well, so and then I want more, but I can't give a comment because it's like my teaching. I met her when I came for Myanmar. She was there. I met her once. Then we spoke over the few times. Then we did live together. So I have like a background because of my teeth and stuff.
Okay.
Here.
Okay. Stana, the rapper.
Very cool guy and munakamburira hysteric. Banoshka pekupedzera pekurira, so he's just maintaining his level and anochena singaita nandi ani mabhebhe zvekutenga.
Okay.
I pray for him all the times.
Have you watched my skits Kuda Chamisa? What do you make of them? Particularly when he targets you.
Who's Kuda Chamisa? Before God, I don't know that one.
Oh, you don't know that one?
Before Jesus, I won't lie, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Very, very funny comedian based in Australia. He does a lot of skits.
I'll check him out after that.
Okay.
That's poor me. Me, I study everybody and I study my country very well. But
okay. Hopo Chingono, the journalist.
uya munhu anotsvaga bhegi saka anonyebera kuita chibalance achitorwa mari achitsvaga mari kuma-NGOs kuya kadai. But my advice to him would be try to be better for your country, not for yourself. Don't try to paint your country black for personal gain. It would be better ukatanga kunhonga marara road. It would be better ukatanga ku educate vanhu to support the government and to make it better than to try and find money from my NGOs.
But can I just interject and say that he's done more than most people in fighting corruption. Do you not appreciate someone that fights corruption? I think Obadiah Moyo, the health minister, quit his job because of what Hopewell and others exposed. Saka, nkenyi musingafariri vanhu vanoexpose corruption.
It's my first time to hear that he actually did that. If it's true or not, I don't know. I knew him achinzi free Hopewell chinono hashtag.
Okay.
And so I tried to ask what happened in Jan and stuff. That's when I knew him. Then achingobuda mjeri, the first thing he attacked me. And attacker then because of my followers, right? What do I say or think about what he said? Then I made a study about him and I came and I did my skit against him as well. That's all I know about him. Then recently he said Passion is a fool or what, something like that. Then I just said it's not worthy to reply and stuff. So I will know. Could I not fight a corruption? I know he fights me and maybe others, I don't know. But what I would say to him is, if you will listen to this one, I would say to him, he should receive Jesus, repent, pray for his country. And if there is corruption that he knows of, the most important thing to do is to pray. Because him coming on Facebook to say, kune corruption, how many people speak and say kune corruption? But if he can pray and also work for his country himself, then we can have better results for our country. Let's not do things for personal gain, but for the blessing of the whole nation.
But surely someone fighting corruption is doing good for the country. Do you not agree?
If you are the one fighting corruption, or you telling me that you're fighting corruption, I will join you and back you up if there is such. But this guy, from what I've seen him, he's not worthy people to even go on his page and listen to him. He's someone who's playing people's mind psychologically for his own personal gain.
Okay.
And me personally, I don't listen to people that opposes the leadership that God placed in place. As I've said, according to the Bible, God is the one that puts people in leadership. And who is person to come and say, I can't correct God.
But that's problematic for you.
Leaders, I can pray.
It's problematic for you to say that, though.
What is that?
It's problematic for you to say that because your mother was an opposition senator, the late.
I would accept it according to your perception.
No, I'm saying you are saying I'm Tambiro and no opposite leadership.
Mr. Lance, Mr. Lance, opposition part does not mean you are saying lead. Opposition part is actually saying we believe God called us also to be. God called us to be the next leaders. So we are waiting for our time to get in leadership. There's nothing wrong to be a leader or trying to be a leader. And doesn't mean the leader that Trump president doesn't mean that Obama is a bad president. It only means Trump believes kuti ininiwo nguwa yekutonga Mwari yavakandipa yakwana. And actually it's not wrong for Lance to feel or believe God wants him to be a great leader in Zimbabwe and pursue it. And when you pursue it, it doesn't mean you are saying everyone who's in leadership is wrong or they're bad or they're corrupt. It simply means you want to work for your nation and you want to be a successful leader.
Okay, all that thoughts. I'll play one more advert. I need to ask you a follow-up question on that one. Just hold on.
England, congratulations on your victory. The real game has begun. England versus Italy, and the big question is football coming home? Who can say? Nobody knows. However, if you join Diaspora Insurance, you are a sure winner. Become a member of our gold-plated Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan today. Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan. Guaranteed peace of mind.
Okay. The church should be a moral compass of any society. You are a preacher.
Yes.
And interacting with people in ZANU-PF who have been implicated in past crimes, whether it's political violence or murder. This is a question that we've received from some of our viewers. And are you converting them to God and asking them to repent? What are you telling them, given their history of impunity? Because they've not apologized for anything they've done in the past. So as a preacher, when you are interacting with people like that, what is your message to them?
The best way of preaching is not to force anybody to receive Jesus. Is not even to open your mouth and say, Jesus is good. People should see Jesus in you. As I've said, if I come on Instagram, I'm going to say, look at my Lambo. But when I meet you in person, when you hear me talking about Jesus, when you see me spending my whole day, some of the people, they want to be like me. Some of the people, they ask me, how do I make it in life? Some of the people ask me, what is my secret? And I always direct them to God, as I did when we started, and I gave all the glory back to God. My duty I got there as a prophet, as a pastor, to pray for everybody, to speak Jesus to everybody, to reach out to the youth, influence the youth, inspire the youth, so that I don't want my child or any one of the children to grow up believing to be anybody else. Akuputa mbanje animari, akuputa zoma drugs animari. I want everybody to say, I want to grow up. I want to be Obama. I want to be this prophet. I want to be a man of God. I want to be a preacher like him. I want to drive like him. I want to do like this. So I would say to you, I get to preach to people I feel I have to preach in my heart when I meet them, whether they're politicians, whether they're musicians, they're artists, they're just any other different people. And through my ministry, I have reached hundreds of thousands of people and led them to Jesus from 2001 till now. A lot of lives have changed. A lot of lives have changed.
But you've not said anything about, you see, historically the church speaks out, and preachers like you don't speak out. You pretend nothing is happening. So I think this is where people are coming from.
When you say speak out, you have to understand that if people ask you, what do you see, you're gonna say my face. But the guys behind me ain't gonna say my face. They're gonna say I'm seeing his back. Your point of view is not my point of view. And it will be a mistake for me to convince you to express my point of view. You can only express your own point of view, and I can only express mine. That's why we have MDC, we have ZANU-PF, we have Zayoja, we have Assemblies of God, we have Kingdom Embassy, we have all these type of different churches, New Life Covenant, simply because everybody has his own perspective and they live by it. So it will be not good for Mr. Lance to say, Passion, speak like this to the parliament, speak like this to the leaders, speak like this to the Zimbabweans, because I have my own point of view that I have to express in the way I want to express or I feel like expressing. Chinono, the guy, he has his own revelation and he runs by it. And I can tell him you are wrong because my perception is different. And he will come back and say, I'm wrong because of his own perception. So I would say to you, I can't be iconoclastic to people and walk in false pedestal and act as if I am this holy guy and be pretentious hypocrite. I can't do that. I can only express according to my own point of view.
Okay. the more superstitious in our country, let's rush back to music, Passion Java record,
Yeah.
and some of the artists you are working with.
Yes.
The more superstitious in the country are saying everyone you work with has misfortune befalling them. So of course they give unfortunate
It's
examples
not
like
like that. The simplest way is, if you are having a contract with me for a year, I bring the best of you because that's what I do, right? I asked Rocky, let's do a contract, let's do this. He said, man of Jah. He called me man of Jaja. Man of Jaja. Man of Jaja. Please, I don't want to be doing all this and stuff, and I don't want you to be paying me every month and stuff. Whenever you want to take care of me or give me money or do this for me, do it from your heart. I'm here to do music. That means I'm with Rocky for life as long as he wants. I'm going to be doing my best for him and it's going to shine. But any other young guys, they say, okay, let's do 1 year contract. Rikapera contract. Don't go to my video, $5,000. Wanyuraka, because uchanotangira papu waweka. Saka zure kuti munhu akunoita munyama because passion amsiya. Passion was the finance behind you. Passion was the axis behind you. Kuti usangana nhingi, it was passion. Kuti ugare kumba kwakati, it was passion. Udrive mota yakati, it was passion. Passion aienda kusira. Haukwanisi safiwa, haukwanisi kumaintain. So kana contract rapera. Life yakunorarama ndisine nayo ndakutofocasa neari papa. I preached to you about Jesus. I showed you the way of life and I did ABC. I did my best. How you live it, it's you.
But
anyone who's talented, gifted, I can't control your gift. I can't control your talent. I can only boost it with my own ways. But doesn't mean I can take it away from you. Cannot you gonna I'll change them there.
But if you are saying you pick them up and leave them, are you not just exploiting them, getting juice and then leaving them? Because that strategy.
I don't leave anybody. I'm always open. If you have a contract with me, which is well balanced, Rikapera, I can offer you to continue or you do by yourself. But vakawanda vacho vanenge vatoona kuti achieve somewhere. And marenga chitora chidambura record label half anditega and akunoitora ndega. It's a big opportunity in his own eyes. Akarowa paso orwa Maria pane painozonopera. Ikapera ndo unonzi kupera kwacho.
Okay.
Kupera mwadza kuita semdara. Kana ungochiimba kana kusaimba. Wapera. Inini andipere because ndotaura. And kutaura kwangu akupere. Mawords angu handipererwe. Makanditsubira zvezvi ndotsubira hava mkupu mkwabam. Ndo vanonakirwa because ndinotaura. Saka panongonzi tie masongs akachaita ndokutopera kwacho. So I'm open. Anyone who wants to work with me, any musician, kana uchigona. Come. Record label is there, the managers are there ku record label. And sindosana nani wapanema contract. My managers who Chichichi, Boitrana, and we do full support and help and bless people.
Can we briefly talk about your relationship na Soldier Love towards the last days? What happened?
Oh, Soldier Love, I've liked this work since 2013. Nainagirwa naye Soldier Love. But ana manager wake sikana ndiwanzo shana muna manager. How can I manage you if you already have a manager? Kuzoshika manje apa pangasina management. He's the one who actually approached me. Pangpese tengo da my songs. Let's do album. Toro my songs tese. We all record the studio. Toro then boom, done. Vazo uya ngati tese mkuru ngati today. Paul, let's do it. Then pangata kutomurowera music and stuff. Angane aita zvokubayiwa Jackson akati angane sugar. So one of the day amen kwangari and angasina Jackson rake, then an attack came. Pamamanyisa kuhospital pakazosvika, they couldn't do anything. But he was a very good man.
His family, I've read several articles with some of them that we've covered. They are complaining about the posthumous release of some of his songs. I don't know. I think the implication there is with you are making money off his music, ERCC, without the family benefiting.
Zvine mari because my songs is ready. Inini record label yangu inokupa mari yese unonida kubva kumbafi transportation yokubhadhara recorda song yokubhadhara video anda ma-thousands kamavideo yokubhadhara ese YouTube inotokaita $1 million inopa 1,000 something ne$1 million video yega itatashandisa ma-thousands of dollars video hatinana video yatatotanga kutoita 9 million ndeyaroki iyoyi handiti. But as a project, actually, yes, we used it was a cheap budget. We used about $3,700, and it knows Omega Mari say one got it that Omega Mari ne papika would take up as yatito to marriage. Help these guys. People should just clap in and say, Passion, thank you for the heart you have for these guys. We do things from the heart, not for the cash. Tagudono shika pe mari but there's some music yedu internationally. Then maybe it's 100 million views. Tomorrow, Marine Gernan.
What's your relationship like with the other prophets in the country? The Magayas, the Makandiwas?
The first prophet that ever came closer to me, apart from my brother, Apostle B. Java, who introduced me to Prophet Angel, is Prophet Angel. Okay. That was 2009. And 2010 with a strong connection. And up to now, then through Prophet Angel, it was Prophet Makandio. We've gone out different times, end up hunting here and there, in his house, I've been up in his bedroom, blah, 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 just connecting and stuff. And Prophet Guy, I looked for him myself. I was bringing Benny in, Pastor Benny into Zimbabwe before the lockdown. So I want us to work together, blah, 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 blah. Then we spoke, then we changed numbers, then we connected, then I made him talk now, Pastor Benny in. Then we started talking, then he gave me a lot of advice that I'm still using up to now. And a lot of other prophets that are not known. Prophet Ed Branson, then he became a Sada, he became very successful from that time, which we can now. We talk, we talk, we meet. South Africa, and stuff, and other many prophets.
Pani beef with. I remember you had a controversial prophecy about Prophet Shepherd Bushiri, which didn't go down well with him. You know, it's more prophetic. With him, Nyandurana.
What Dr. Nyandurana will be big, but what I would say is it all comes back to the point of view. I can come and say, oh, you look ravishing in your blue suit. But then you're a person who doesn't want to be commented. So, it doesn't mean that I comment as a bed. I'm trying to say you look spot on, right? You are on point. But your point of view doesn't want maybe any guy to comment you, maybe only ladies. So I would say Prophet Shepherd Bushiri is one of the greatest prophets in Africa. And I think it was 2 months ago when we last spoke over the phone, of course, through Prophet Angel was always making things come together and helping people to be united and stuff like that. But I have no problem with any prophet. I have no problem with any church pastors and leaders. And no, I'm okay with everybody.
Okay, I'll throw in a couple of questions directly from people right now. Kelvin Tapiwa Mavure Gudo. Anzi, what have you done for your roots? Because your district is one of the poorest in Zimbabwe.
Let's talk about Bohera, where moms wangu na mdara wangu wabakaba tuwe kwa chief nyashani susu. Moms wangu wari kwarambani pasi side. I gave my mom thousands and thousands of dollars. Vachino sponsor. Pesa pavaenda chinota donations. Akungesi mari government. Imari eba mongo kon maposto Java. Yes, Sanso, my sister. Twapa cash. Vakatengera kombi endesa zvinu all those things. One, Chitungiza. And there's how many families we have helped in Chitungiza. A lot and up to now. a lot and a lot. No wonder akuro chitungiza. But nanungobatsira chitungiza chete even kuchitungiza kwacho maprimary ndakaenda for donation, secondary ndakaenda for donation. Kozoita ndiseke murapi andinonzi mene zvikoro zvatakano-distributa mabhuku aseke uko. Tengera primary school yese, secondary school yese and stuff. Then mbari helping them. Inini andibuditse all my life on social media. Of course, no post on my picture ona ndikudai but andidi kuti nditenge ndakakubatsira ndakubuditsa pamberi wona uyu ndambatsira, which means ukazvitawa zviri kuti zvakaipa, I come back to a place of your own point of view. Some people are inspiring people that I'm doing this so that you also can do it. But in I would prefer kubuditsa muchilambo. Why? Because Instagram yacho vanhu vanoenda pa Instagram zvinoiti. Why are people on Instagram? To me, vanoti mukadzi uda kubuditsa body twako nemandwindwi netumabra twatweya uchidai ubuditsa makeup, murume ubuditsa mota dzako, imba dzako and stuff like that. Point of view is different.
Okay, given kuti Instagram inenge ichibvira, I'm sure DM yenyu iri busy with the ladies inboxing you. How do you handle that?
Oh, of course, I go on Instagram maybe once or twice a week. And then the team in reply over 8 people that runs those social medias. And of course, Stuart Nyamaro is the man behind my brand. Agava nasa brand rangu rinokweshera. Because ndiano ita zvese zveve achisa ndwane ma blue tick, Facebook, my Instagram, managing my post and stuff. In another words, what I'm saying is I'm not just a man. That's why I'm successful. In a team that runs things for me. For example, kana pane munhu ada kurira akatsvaka Stuart Nyamaro anoona blue tick by mangwana, guide what so because handisi package iri full. Ndine zvinhuwo zvandinotonidwo help from other people. Isi Instagram mudara ininika ndine face inoonekera zvinooneka, ndine ganda rakatsvukira kunge kapitch, ndine mahandsome, handiti ndine too little money, ndine tumari tunooneka kuti apa iripo, ndakapfeka zvimako ndinji zvekuti ndichibuda mulambo muya vasikana muAmerica vanenge vachiscreama. But nyaya yese kuti wadiwa nani, problem iripo kuti iwo ukadyira urikudani maibata. Saka tinenguva ndomboshungurudzikawo ndaona munhu anoti mawana, but mwana wazvikandawo pane vamwe vanongoitarisa vanoti pedza nguva, vanomwe kuti unoshinyirawo zvinoitika zvazvo mudara ina ndinyebeni unomboshinyira mudara vanoti ako anenge ari mawani, but we are here by God's grace. Nyasha.
So you exercise self-control.
Patinokontrora pane panombokudubura mota mudara, hazvisi zvekunyebera vanhu izvo mudara. Imimi pamuri papapa munotozviziva, hazvisi zvekunyeberana. Pane pamwe vaona zona chidya vanoti waita umwe unongonakirwa nepamungotaura memungoda kuti hapana rudo, hapana zvekukisana kana zvese kana chii, but unongo uchingonakirwa nemunhu unoti uyo muchingokonekta ozoona ndokurasika panapa. Zvinoitika zvazvo mudara, zvinowanikwa zvemabhebhi zvandinebe.
I need to ask you something about nyaya dzendimi. We've had right, yeah, you've quoted controversy when speaking in tongues, either during prayer or when you are preaching. So my phrase is like bond ndokubhena tsotsonya etc. Some argue that you are taking your comedy too far and disrespecting Christianity. What's bond?
There's no comedy in praying. There's no comedy in prayer. But the things of the Spirit cannot be understood by a carnal mind. That brings me to tell people, you have to be spiritual for you to understand spiritual stuff. You can't judge. That's why Nambo Chema Pama leaders. You can't be judging a politician unless you're a politician. Because politician or politician. Kana usina pfungwa dzekunzi uri prophet iwewe, you can't come and judge a prophet. Amene amuri kuibata nyaya iri kutaurika panapa. What I'm simply saying is, it takes a prophet to understand any prophetic language. It takes people who speaks in tongues to understand who is speaking in tongues. Kunozoita mamwe malevels epamsoro. Malevels epamsoro ekuti munhu akaitwa asati akamboitirwa anovhiringika. And one of the things about tongues, even ukati vanhu veku7th day hatokunzwisisa kuti anondoti mudhara anopenga. And zvine mavhesi, 1 Corinthians chapter number 14. So you would understand kuti matongues are languages. Saka pakanzi bonda zvoreva kuti chakati. Vamwe vanototaura nezvinyadzi matongues. But kwete zvinyadzi zvelanguage yavo, vanotaura language kuno. Vanonzwa vari kumalawi vanenge vachiseka kuti ataura word rekuti chakati. Vanenge vari kurussia ngoseka kuti ataura word rakati. So I would tell people kuti inini kana ndichitamba ndinotamba svika kopedzisira. Kana ndiri serious ndisira svika kopedzisira. Kana ndichinamata ndonamata nemoyo wese svika kopedzisira. Kana ndichika mari ndonasorwa mari svika kopedzisira. Handipenda ndakatamba naMwari svika level iroro.
I think problem yakaitika ndeyekuti when you were speaking in tongues we heard Shona words and that convinced a lot of people kuti, you know, this was fake.
People should ask themselves this question. How God have anointed me, called me, and gave me the grace to be a successful preacher. I have churches in India. Zimbabweans vangana my church in India. I have churches in Brazil, churches in Bahamas, churches in Jamaica, California, America, New York City, America, Texas, Dallas, Houston, Maryland, DC. The biggest church, Tanzania, huge crowds. Hazvimboitwi izvozvo vanhu ngokuteera mudhara. Hazvimboitwi izvozvo. Hazviitike, it's not normal. Vanofanira kuzvinzwa vanhu vari kuteerera. MaZimbabweans muchechi mangu mandaitonzi ndikuona ndimi dzekuseka dzemajokes. Vanhu vachichema moti maZimbabweans aingochema vangopusa zvokuti angangochema. No. People have to understand this. When God gives you the grace, people may not understand you, but that grace will sustain you. Saka ndimi that is the majokes, that is the fake.
Okay.
My languages that is shotora na Mwari.
I have a tough question for you here that's just come through.
Yes.
Anzi, you travel a lot, and some are suggesting that you are a runner for political elites. That's why you are up and down as a runner. That's how you are making your money.
Mdara, ende pa Google, Mr. Lenz. Go on Google. Check an article that was written in 2016. I was said to be #1 best preacher in Zimbabwe who preached in, I don't know how many countries I preached in that year, but all the conference I preached in that year were over 200 conferences in a year with 365 days. Mm-hmm. I have been traveling, preaching since 2000 and flying out since 2012 in Chiparida. That's just preaching. Inimika mdaraga and otanga fly ndege nasi. I have been. In short, dango kuragiza life yangu kwa America. That's 2018. Takatanga church, ndandine church ku California, ndandine church ku Maryland. Takatanga church ku New York City, neku Texas, Dallas. I would fly Monday, go preach in Dallas and fly back. Tuesday, drive or fly to New York and come back. Thursday in Maryland and Sunday I'm in California. Check my calendar all that year. And I did that every week. It's been a lifestyle. Now, when people see you flying in and out of Zimbabwe, the problem that I like this problem, is people don't know 20% of who I am and what I do. And I like to stay hidden in that way because once people know what you do, they attack you in that area. I do a lot of things. Ukagara kumba zvinhu zvinogara. Mari inotsvagwa mudhara.
So,
And that's what I do.
are you saying that then Kuti, the money comes from the church? You know, the preaching you are doing, the church
Of
is...
course, there is money that comes from church. I won't lie, like those pastors that say, "Oh, I don't have any dollar from church." Of course, varipo vakadaro, but inini, of course, imimi izvezvi ndakati tiri pachechi ndipewa mari ndodya, mukandipa ndoidya mudhara, ndoirova mudhara, and inini makachadza maservice angu inini ndinotonasira kuti tamboita ofanira mboita tani ndiumbodo mari udya, vanotondipa. Ndo basa rangu osamufundisi ro, but ndine mabhizinesi angu anoruka mari, handisi kutora ma10,000, tora ma millions of dollars over here. Saka tangoya kuchechi chete, ukandipa mari kuchechi handiti haiwa tikuita zvechechi sandipe mari ndoidya mudhara. Mina ndikudze choka tingataura nemapastors, chechi business mudhara, ibusiness rekuti ndinokubatsira pamweya. Ine vhesi Paul anoti ndinokubatsira pamweya, chindipaiwo zvepanyama. Munzwe mapastors akwanzobuda chidaro, and problem iri kuenda kuti kuna pastor nechechi iri pasi pemuti inana juju nana jajaja, vekuti ukati ipai offering vanokupa imbambaira netii nemasamba isina mukaka. Kozoita vekuti isusu tichiparidza vanhu vanokanda maguchi wachi, voti mufundisi ndakutengerai guchi iyo. Kana isusu tazoya toti isusu chechi yangu yandipa mazimari, vanhu votanzi ari kuba mari anoba mari nechechi. Neta kuti pasi wako zvaramba anoparidza vanhu ari kumba mabhondi. And then I teach people to be successful. Vanhu vova nema-millions of dollars. Inini wacho ndorama ndiri murombo. Hazvimake sense mudhara. So what I will tell people is kana kuri kuchechi ndinodla mari mudhara. Kwete yechechi handie ndapiwa kuchechi. Kune yekuchechi kozoita yangu. Imimi makatouya kuchechi kwangu mudhara makandipa ndoirova, handinyebe mudhara. Ndoirova mari.
But you talk about business activity. There's no footprint of any businesses you are running, and I think you are asked this question a lot, and you always avoid answering. Huh?
Of course, there is not even one. Hapana kana one footprint ipapo. Mutaura chokwadi.
Okay, so why is that? Because if someone says ndo rana my business, strive akati anorana business tinoona Econet.
The answer to that is Passion Java's business is my business, and is none of your business, and you should mind your own business.
But this is a company, mdara. This is a company, and I'm just company to trade.
It's going point. Tina weak now, and tina weak now. Tina strive masiwo. Moibata. Strive masiwo auye pa Facebook, kuri pa Instagram. Ayiti ndirize mbinga ini ndakapinga.
Because we know his business. Business rake tori stra.
But chakaitika ndechekuti mbinga yedu inonzi. Tatara seje. Say weak now. Mbinga yedu inonzi say weak now. Anditi. Yakabuda. Ikati ndini mbinga. One boots dzangu jakati. Unokati uri mbavoenda marini. Zvikanzi kambani yangu ndezvakati ndinoita zvakati. Ndopakaroverwa ipapo. Vanhu vakangoziva kuti apa ndopane mari yake. Vanozokurovera ipapo. Vanokurovera ipapo pawakwara. Ini ndinodena mudhara. Hakuna munhu adena zedi muZimbabwe mudhara. Ndinodena zvisingaite. Ndine pamuromo futi. Ndinokopora vanhu zvisingaite. Ndo vakaziva pane mwena wangu vanofushira mudhara. Hazvibude. Business ndopasina kudza vanhu vangatodiscover vega. But ndiri kunyebera. Vavengi vangu vanotenga mashopu angu inini. Vavengi vangu because vaziva kuti ndangu mashopu.
Okay. A lot of youths who follow you. This is a tricky question. Yeah. So let me clarify exactly what I mean. A lot of youths who follow you, Anditika, I'll give an example. The last time you went to Blawai, you had all these people coming out to see you. And there's a general belief that you are distracting youths from focusing on things that are important. Your social media antics and everything that you are doing is distracting youths from doing important things like registering to vote. So when people see you, they see you as a distraction for our youths. What's your response?
Nara.
Mm.
We have 24 hours in one day.
Mm.
Person would come into Bulawayo
Mm-hmm.
for 2 hours and telling me 2 hours is going to disturb people from voting or registering from vote or focusing on their own success.
Mm-hmm.
Impossible. We have January to December, and you're telling me the only one day you meet Passion Java for 10 minutes is going to distract you. The only problem we have in Zimbabwe is when people break records. When we have, for example, Rocky, we never had any artist who got 1 million views in 4 days. People's minds are blown away. So the only thing they can say is it's a lie or it's fake. At certain kuskrimirwa munhu anotaridza kuti ndepashoni munhu ofenda neso hatisati takamboita level rakadaro kuti vanhu vanoti uyo vomumhanyira kuti uda kungomhoresa vanhu vamwe vanenge vachiti tikandirokeshi kana uri mbinga vamwe vanenge vachimhanya pachiti ndiwe iri unondikonda zvecho vamwe vanoda kungobata ngokuguma so hasisati zvakamboitika muzimbabwe. When these things happen, people start saying pari kubrekwa mavhoti pari kubirwa vanhu ameno. People always have different point of view, which is good because that's how they view things, but it's impossible. Passion Java, he's traveling to Mutare this other trip and for his own personal visit, and people scream, people come out from their shops, people come and do this and that because they just like the guy. He is spot on, sporendous. He's always on point, and you're always watching this guy on TV or on your phone or on Instagram. Then reality says he's down there. Simply, you're going to run there.
But is it not because Awanamabasa, if they were in jobs, would they have the time to be
ndaramo zedu kuamerica ndonganirwe reni vanhu vakaona lambo yangu ndapaka pagaraji vanobuda mota dzavo vanhu vanomhanya kutora mapicture palambo yangu. Does it mean kuti havana mabasa? Kalife kangu kanotapira mudhara. That's the truth. Ichokwadi mudhara. Kachiko kalife kangu ka dai kaisatapira musina tomboita nini life. Munotokaziva kuti aka kampani aka amene zvakangori so. Mudhara varungu mudhara nomuda kuamerica varungu nandina rokiso kutanzania vanhu kutanzania vasingataure shona vachitonoona so tiwabam Tanzania mudhara. I'm not talking about church people only. Anyone. Tapina building, hey. It's just how when God blesses you, let someone receive Jesus and try this type of life. It will balance well.
Okay, I've taken a lot of your time. I'll play one more advert and then I'll open the floor in terms of my questions. Just put in your question.
Any question.
Yeah, put in your question in the comment section.
I think I'm left with like 20-30 minutes.
Okay, put in your question. All those who are watching, put in your question in the comment section. Kanatava from this advert, and then I will shoot straight Zamabvunza to Prophet Passion.
Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee. Peace of mind is not as expensive as you may think. For just one day, you can forego your cup of coffee for your monthly Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan cover. To find out how much premium you would pay, get a quote today. Visit www.diasporainsurance.com/get-quote. WhatsApp +44 770 3838 304 UK and international. WhatsApp +27 659 070 419 South Africa and rest of Africa. Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee.
Okay, so you've used sponsoring Zim Dancehall as a tool to grow your brand. I suppose at first it looked like a risky strategy. I'm interested in your motivation. Chakaita kuti mufunge kuti let me use Zim Dancehall as a stepping stone, because certainly it played a role in getting you to where you are.
I would tell you is my favorite guy in UK. When I started ministry, church, I didn't start church for any personal gain, for cars, for houses, for money. I was preaching Chitungiza, shops, mubazi, ndaipinda mutrain papa irwe
Okay, we're struggling with your signal a bit. Sorry. Yange ambodrega. So you were saying maybe na matrenji.
You hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you just start again? You're saying
My point was when I began ministry,
Uh-huh.
it was not for any personal gain. It wasn't for the Lambo cars you see me driving. It wasn't for the houses or beautiful wife and blessed children. The focus was people's lives. And I preached muchitungiza mumashops taenda ndinodedzera no microphone chiparidza mabhazi preaching mutrain kuenda mumutaro kupinda uchiparidza kuenda kuparidza kudzoka. The focus was to change people's lives. Then success just followed, money followed. And that's where the problem comes when some young preachers look at our lives and they think, let me start a church and I'll be rich. That's not the focus. That's not the point. Same right now. When I came to our Zimbabwean type of music, was I want to put my money back to the community. Ndopa animari, ndopa zviremere, ndonopa chemberere, ndopa ani. Then I saw everybody's helping kwese, charity organization ari kubatsira vakawanda, machechi ari kubatsira vakawanda. Saka ndopani, then I said, kune talents ariko but akafa. Let me boost them and change their lives. Let me give my artists aid of value. And that has been my main focus. Mugata Savan Wakawanda that I worked with, their lives changed. From who they were when I met them until now. Mukana so Tarisa, you see the difference. My focus was not my brand should grow. No. My focus was to just go and sponsor. Just go and bless. Then even in my church in the Batsira, the only people who appreciated me, that flattered me, was my ghetto youths. Ukavaita chakatwe paunoti Pastor Java akadai Pastor Java. Is nakizo de wanafana tenda. Let me more. And ndichizvita then brand rakanoputika. The idea was not to let me put it the brand rangu saka rikandienda ku music. That's why mukonde vadonditedzera vese asi kuputika because their focus is wrong. Focus haisi kuti ndakaenda uku zita rangu chabva ranokura. Ndakabva naenda then ndabatsira mazindancehall, ndabatsira mamusician, ndabatsira maartist, and a lot of them vane value from the time I met them. And personal lives changed, families changed. Pane vari kutochengeta mhuri because of what we did for their lives. Pane kufamba nemota ungasambofuata mota. Pane vakakwira ndege ungasingatombozivi ndege. Pane vakatora mapassport ungasingambozivi. We changed. In me blessing and changing them, the influence just happened. Simply because if I don't have a reach, and Enzo Aisha is reaching 2 million people in the world that are not in church, that I don't have a reach to, if I work with him, those 2 million reach that he has a reach to, they'll end up knowing me. And those things happened automatically. And brand rangu putika, and I will not lie, brand rangu arinoputiswa ne music, brand rangu rakaputiswa na Stuart Nyamayaro. Just building the brand. But me personally, ndichibatsira ghetto youths, ndichichinja life yavo, ndine vakawanda vaita zvemutoriro, zvemadrugs zvezve, vakakwita because of my advice, my help, my love for them, and stuff like that. The idea and the focus is what matters. If you come with an idea, kuti ndite brand rikanishandise music, azvibude. Ukawa idea kuti ndoda kuita zvakati, your heart should be just in what you're doing, and then everything else will follow.
I'm sure you know Dame Dash. I think vairana Rockefeller Records na Jay-Z. A common criticism of him was kuti he got into too many videos, Zema artist ake. Some are throwing this at you and saying you are appearing in too many of the videos from your artists, so there's too much self-promotion of yourself as the man behind Passion Java Records. Your reaction to that?
My reaction would be some of these videos is my own sacrifice to be in those videos. Simply because I know if this artist records the video alone, this video ain't gonna go anywhere. The video is gonna have 200 or 20 views in 1 month. But once Passion Java name is attached to the song and the face, my image, is on the video with how I am on my outward punctitude, many people definitely are going to watch the video, tag each other, send to each other, spread it in the groups. So it's mainly to help the artist to grow bigger. Rocky was big. If you check the first song where they dropped, nakati ndakapinda pa video E, I will not know and I will not get to measure Rocky's reach. Andimo mu video ye zviriko. Nika iye na skid vaite ndone how is he going to make it. Baputita. Right now, every 1 week or 2 weeks at about 500, 600,000 views. But I know Pindem church to rap power Rocky. They would the first video in 2 weeks set up 500,000 views. But I know Pinda, but I know that too. But I know putting 1 million in 4 days. Why? My reach is big. My influence is big. So once I get into the videos, I boost my artist edu to a certain level. Ndiani munhu asingadi kutorwa picture na Passion. Ndiani asingadi video na Passion. Ko Passion achakanza ari video asingadi kuiona ndiani.
But mune self promotion wofutika. If you are in Rocky's video,
inini ndinozvida mudara handinyebe papo ndozvinzwa ndozvifila ndozvida zvekunasonzwa kuti ngau monzvere pakarira chinhu ndisipo ndorwadziwa handikunyebere mudara itai chinhu so chorira kuputika ndisipo ndonorwadziwa handikukunyeberai handina godo hangu rekuda kuzonokurwisa unongo well done, thank you. Senzisirini ndafunga chaidea ichi kana pabuda chaidea chakapenga zvekuti video paruwa song nyama pa Rocky ari kutraya kuda kuconvince kofelo media yekuZimbabwe ndoti handisi kupinda muvideo iyo pana kofi pakurira pa panonaka pa ndojambira mudara handikunyebere mudara.
Okay.
And kana pane munhu anoti ajambire ndezvekwake pandataura kuti point of view dzinosiyana ininde ndiripo.
Okay, honest answer. Here's a question from Tammy Due. I'm displaying it on the screen. And is it true that Passion Java, you are smuggling gold from Zimbabwe to America?
How would that happen and how possible? Is it going to be possible? Zimbabwe, in a van, wanda I think my manja waenza budisa gold wakabata kuna zvakadaro mudara inini gold rangu ni ndere kuti nawa tinotenga nemari dzangu muona magold ese nemadiamonds ari maoko zvishandwa izvi makati bracelet kati bracelet 16,000 iwache nde 70,000 izvi ine nonzi meteorite stone dombo rinobva kuMars ine madiamond ine white gold all those things Rolex anditi azvinei kunzi ndinosmaglia kunji inotengesa kupi. Of course kune munhu anotofunga kuti Passion muilluminati, umwe anoti Passion musatanist, umwe anoti Passion akangofamba newo akuinitiate. Mwese unongofunga kuti Passion mungochani, amwe anofunga kuti saka anobuda nezvimasubject zvakawanda. Zvimasubject ndio zvinoita ndirire because vanhu vakasazvitaura ndakasataura ndokupera kwacho. So I would say to all my haters and my enemies, chandinonyofara ndinoda naso kuti urwadziwe unasodzimbwa. Saka ndinosoita zvinhu unasoti unasonyenyenwa endo andanakirwa uchirwadziwa. Kana wandida unogara uchifara, unogara uchiseka uchinda tenwa yona ampano tingamuswera akapenga mpana. Ini ndakafanana neboyfriend yamhomuzwe munhu. Nekuti unombotanga ukamaka so wazongomuka nengote mamuka sei baba. Ona nakuvenga so unonga ungoseka wega pavideo kuti abata awe anokwana ndozvandingori mudara. Saka vanondivenga ngavarwadziwa vapore. Inini kalife kangu kandoramba kachienda mberi. Munhu asina kana hobiri akati hawa ndikudeya wakabhauna musoro. Inini ndine hobiri dzangu, ndine mari dzangu, ndine kalife kangu. Hazvichinje kuti ndiri chii. Saka what you can do page against Prophet Passion, follow it and be entertained or be educated every day.
You obviously grew up in Chitungwiza. Probably my final question. I think you need to go. You grew up in Chitungwiza. Recently, takaona people's homes being destroyed. Someone wants to know what's your view of my demolitions at Zimbabwe. You know, when you see people's houses being destroyed in the middle of winter at the direction of the government, how do you feel? Because, you know, it's an area you grew up in.
Mdaraga, in every place, there are good people and there are evil, bad people. My church, mune ma fake pastors, ma false pastors. Mune kote ma pastors jede, kune ma false worshippers, ne ma fake worshippers. Kote ma worshippers jede, kune ma false or ma fake church members. Kuma police ye every country, kune ma bad police, kune ma good police officers. Kuma hospital kune ma bad nurse, ukuthi rinokufinyamira so pamberi pako nurse, uchirwara so rakakutarisisa so. Kwete umwe anenge achikuda so, nekuti zvikanzi uyu ana mari kurapwa, anotobuditsa yake muhomwe. In every place kune zvinhu zvakadaro. Ini ndiye ndichiti imba yapwanywa ika, haisopwanywa nekuti vanhu vane utsinye. I believe kuti kupwanya chinzi yaiswa pasiripo. Chinozondirwadza ndechekuti authorize kuti imhenge iripo anga achizviitirei. You find kuti munyika dzese kubva America kusvika kuAfrica kune vanhu vanoita zviri pamutemo, kune vanhu vanoita zviri pamutemo. But hazvizoreve kuti munhu akainvesta panzvimbo mutemo usa-applyo. Hazvirevi kudaro. Zvinorwadza mudhara, pana chinhu chinorwadza chekuti iwo washandisa 50,000 or 10,000, even akanzi 1,000 kuisa pamujecho mucho vakaimba yonzi yapwanya. Zvinorwadza mudhara, ndikunyembera mudhara. Zvinosimba. But ndichikatapila chipwanya. In my own point of view, panambotora nyema papa. Ndiyekuti aka-approva kuti aende aizviitirei achindisa pasiripo panzvifanire ndiri. That's what I would say on my comment.
Okay. Can I smuggle this question in? Hanzi takudzwa Masara. Passion Java surprises Zodwa wa Ginimbi with a Gucci bag worth over $15,000. Hanzi so ndokubatsira here uku kubatsira vanhu vane mari nekudhara.
Ngenyu uchiramba. Ngenyu uchida kudzira milioni nezvekuita nemari yake. Wamboitei nepoverty yako. Mndara. Ene ndasenza. Munondudza zvekuita nemari yangu. Iyanga akarara uko kona anga achitora neasikana 5 anotaura neuyu wanawo. Okatonye bonda kurara uchinja imwe WhatsApp otaura nemumwe. Okadota ini ndichishanda mndara. Ndozouya nemarondudza zvekuita nemari yangu. Ngenyi uchida kudzira milioni nezvekuita nemari yake. Mndara. Helping and giving somebody a gift is different. Donation and being a blessing to somebody, it's different than that. Inini, I have known Zodwa by 2012, of course, through Prophet Angel. Prophet Angel, we had a big revival. We all know, you don't have to be told. And he changed the whole church in Zimbabwe. And I traveled when I was moving with him in Africa. And Zodwa kazhinji kacho aishandisa company yaZodwa kuita ma-tickets. No, Zodwa is one of those biggest and travel company here. First time ndakatoziyana ku-office kwa-Prophet Angel. And then takazonge tiri one of the conferences called Johannesburg. And we have known each other from there for a long time. Kana ndazongoposta kuti Gucci aisiri kutanga akatomaposta imo asize kutanga. We have been there for years. Nditotaura naJinimbi, it was through Zodwa naMdiwa.
Okay.
Nditozonzi ndakutaura naJinimbi mazanetana. It was true. Saka nyaya yekuti vanhu vanozongovhunduka watanga kukosora ma-15,000 nandotenga Gucci 15,000. Of course, pamwe said that gift era mari, but it wasn't that 15,000. No.
Okay. Given the support you have, final question. Do you have political ambitions? Your mother was a senator. I believe you have a brother who was married 2 times.
My father was a big guy in ZANU-PF, very big. At PCM Sangan, my father, anyone who knew Java. That's why it was easy for us to break forth in Chitungisa, because everybody knew my father. And my bongo white after Jabora, I'm going to team in Darwin T, Nemwamarunganon Graboski. So, and my bongo manager, I'm going to take my company in Waverly Blankets, Ningman's Context Styles, Namamarunga in the Cohen. I believe many people know what I'm talking about. Then he passed away. Then mom's on Voita Council of ZANU-PF. So both Vongoita the politics. Then mom's on brother yangu. He married Manawa Changrai. Then Pangari Koko, my mother had to support. Mom's were like Chidar. Church Angwanga full support your mom. Church apostle full support because of the love of the family. Then she went there and she went for very successful. As I've said, Wachirama donation. Mwara kandita mprofit. And then I quit a politician. And he take Rema politics. And this tomorrow a politician. And when the guys on the mania when the councillor kwa kati kana minister kwa kati. And he ko enda mundiwani ko. Mukandona ndina any minister. It's for the progress of the nation. I'm not trying to do politics, and I will never be a politician.
Okay, Prophet Passion Java joining us on Nehanda TV. I think we've tried to cover as many topics. I don't think I left anything out. If you guys think I left anything out, please let me know. We'll drag him back. But I think everything you asked us to ask him, we've asked. But the business didn't do answer.
I already said my business. That was a business wrong.
No.
My business is called mind my own business, as you mind your own business.
so ipapapo ndo patino kumaka yapo because you showed us kuti amuskuda.
But damba kuvunza mda. Ndikataura inini kuti ndine mashares mbata, company mbata. Vano angano vanondirwisa right now. Pamunoziye mimi kubva kupolitics dzacho toenda kusocial media kwacho toita umwe asingangoziva anondimaka. Ndinorarama, kambani yangu inorarama.
Strive ari kurarama sei? Imimi ndimunozomakwa business.
Haite zvandinoita zvekukobora vanhu zvindani. Hade ne Strive. Munhu mukuru akadzikama. Inini ndiri kamupana kane uturu. Kana useka vanhu bana pandakaenda kuseka mudhara muite live mudhara. Ndakamborova nzisimba chikanza waya mambama pa live. Akaita 2-3 hours achilupa. Achingopedza malupa yabad delete. Mbata ngo editor yake. Mbazobuditsa yanga yakabviswa mapatsa angu aya. Because mudhara ndinodena ndinokopora mudhara. Saka ndikazoti nini ndakuudza vanhu zvandoita iye chikanza ayonditsvaga dai akaziva business rangu anesararama mudhara. I protect my interests because I want a better future for my children. Handidi kuti ndizokwadzirwa zvandikurongera vana vangu future yavo and stuff like that. So I'll tell you this, my business is my business and I own my own businesses, and you should mind your own business.
Hanzi na Valerie Mashoko.
But one day.
Hanzi na Valerie Mashoko. Ndaisa question yacho on screen iri display. Hanzi, if you have known each other for that long, why is it that you were chased at Ginimbi's funeral?
That's a lie. And don't chase kwa funeral kwa Ginimbi. Kuna agaenda kapeka suite what mavida ndari pa vachibona nga twaba mpasoni hey. Ba MC achakanga kuti twaba miziye proper jono kati anotodzingwa kuti passion wacho yakaende. Andiri kwa inini chakaita ndisatoende was I could not control the crowds. Ndakasvika panzvimbo I become the attention. Don't azvita pa funeral kana pa wedding pewana. I can't do that. That's disrespect. I can't do that. And ndinotomboenda ku funeral. But ndakatofonera zodwa ndakabata maoko, ndakafonera family ya Ginimbi yacho, brother wacho, everyone. Ndakabata maoko, sister wacho, different people. Ndakataura nevana ndakabata maoko, Rimo friend yacho, Chichi, Mdiwa, Chichi. Pandakaenda ku Doves. Panenonzi Doves yakaitwa ka service kadiki. Ndakatoenda ku Doves. wenosvika mukati memweya chichichi ndakakurumidza kuzobuda kuita crowds and stuff like that. Vanhu vanongobudawo mahits because passion is the topic. You can't be on top unless you're the topic. Because I'm the topic. People have to write whatever.
But you had
put in their mind.
You had Maranins Agawanda na Ginimbi. And now that is late. Do you have any regrets about some of what happened? My billboards Amaisa Kudombo Shower and stuff like that. Do you have any regrets about any of that?
No, what I can say is I have to respect him as a brother, whether it's alive or is dead. I have to say there are things I made wrongs because of my own foolishness, but in big legacy, and many people wish to be him, and some of us takatozikana because of him. Someone as a is here and stuff, and I would say I pray Zimbabwe will have more people like Ginimbi, and our flag will continue to rise up.
Okay. I think I have to let you go. I know you have commitments, and thank you so much for your time. Initially, we wanted with a 1 hour. It's 1 hour 41 minutes, which is a bit long. But thank you so much for your time, and hopefully we'll get you back in future.
I'm always open. My life is an open book. Unless people want to mind my own business. Thank you for the platform.
God bless. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
With no money, a death in the diaspora can be overwhelming. Trauma of begging for funeral expenses. Loss of personal and family dignity. An undignified and disrespectful send-off. Spiralling unpaid bills. No peace of mind. It doesn't have to be like that. At Diaspora Insurance, we know it's about a dignified send-off and peace of mind that comes with knowing all things are in order. We therefore designed a policy with the diaspora community in mind. You get cover from £1,000 to £20,000. Insure yourself and family with premium as little as £5 a month. Guaranteed acceptance. Guaranteed cover for life. Multi-currency protection, US dollars, Canadian dollars, euros, Australian dollars, sterling and rands. Worldwide protection. Your policy is portable from country to country. Cash payment within 24 hours. Flexible use of your payout. It helps knowing that with Diaspora Insurance, your life will be celebrated no matter what. For a quote, visit www.diasporainsurance.com. or +44 121 295 116 UK and international, +27 10 109 6555 South Africa.